Hi, I'm Peter Sefton and this is the new WoodRiver number 4.5 smoothing plane. Goes in this box, should take that one out of the way. Got a box inside that. Quite well packed up. And then inside here it comes in its own polythene bag, so that fits out of the way. Cut this one open. This is just as they're delivered. They're a little bit covered with a gunky residue just to keep the rust out of them. Let me see if I can clean this one up a little bit. I'm just going to use some general paint thinners for washing this one off. And we'll see what this new kit's like. This is the latest version, or the new version, of the 4.5 WoodRiver smoothing plane. Good, heavy plane, very, very clean casting, what I can see. These are made in China, and they're using what they call investment casting or lost wax. The way these are produced is as a wax mould. They pour molten metal in. The metal literally melts out, thus the name lost wax. It's an expensive way of making a plane. Investment casting, the same kind of process is used in the aero industry for things that have to be very, very accurate. We've had various of these styles of planes in the past, and we inspect them on a granite surface plate and they are incredibly flat. Over there for the moment. Take out the iron chip breaker. Picks off there, bit of protection. Wash that down as well. It's a solid chip breaker on there, machined, very fine tolerances, really keeps that blade flat. The old Stanley record actually be a bent piece of iron would actually put strain and bend the blade. These don't put that strain on there. It's come pretty well ground from the factory, I would say probably with a 25 degrees grinding on there. Frog, very flat machining across this face here. This is the bedrock system of frog, which keeps everything very flat and concise, and you get no chatter. A big machine surface area. In here there's two pins for actually locating and holding the frog down. This style of frog, the bedrock pattern, can be adjusted by moving backwards and forwards, I should say, whilst the blade's still in position. Let me just take this one off completely. We wouldn't normally do this, but it's just literally as it's fresh. We'll do these two. Unscrew those ones all the way out, and we're going to take this frog off here and just see what the machine likes inside. Yeah, we'll just lift off there now. It does indeed. You can have a look. Very flat machining on there, turn him upside down, good flat area. Now I'll take these pins out. I take this out when I get a new one just to get rid of all the grease in there. It's been put on there to obviously protect it during transit and make sure it gets to everybody's workshop in prime condition. Let's just get him out inside here as well. A very big flat area in here, so you really are going to get no chatter whatsoever going on. New design, a few extra new features in there. A bigger handle or tote at the back. There's been some issues or comments in the past that maybe the handles have been a little bit small. These have now been enlarged and really quite comfortable. For a 3-fingered grip, the other finger tends to be down onto the frog, and also you can actually make adjustments on the fly. The other major thing that's happened is the actual diameter and the depth of the knurling on here has increased. I have an older style plane here, and the size of this one before, across this diameter was, if I can get in there, just about 27-28 millimeters. Diameter of this one, it's come up to 31-32. Just this extra bit of diameter on here is going to give us an extra bit of leverage, and that just helps to make this spin more freely. Also, the yoke or Y lever has been redesigned. In here it's actually got a nice undercut scooping effect. What that means is when that is being adjusted backwards and forwards, it's actually dragging the blade in and out via the post box hole in the actual chip breaker. It won't bind up. You can have with just very square ones actually binding. Also, all the tolerances are being made that much finer, so we've now got very positive forwards and backwards, very little backlash. It's that backlash we don't want to be having as we're actually bringing the blades out and back in again for our fine adjustments. Also, the lateral adjustment lever, very nicely machined, and on here there's a small bearing. That small bearing has been machined and riveted through. The top adjuster on the end here, very nicely screwed in there. The idea is that one will actually sit into here, put onto there, and you'll see very much the adjustment from left to right, very positive movement. And then also, by doing the adjustment nut on here, you can see very much the blade is being retracted or sent further out for actually depth of cut. Very nicely engineered, certainly an improvement over the earlier versions that we've seen. I'll just get this one cleaned up. What we also have to actually adjust this frog to get that whole blade or the mouth closed up, rather than having to take all of the blade and everything else out, what we actually have here is some screws with basically a cup end on there. The cup ends will go into the little screws. Where have I put those? I'll clean those ones up. There's a little tiny round hole in here. As the screw with the cup end goes on there, it draws this cup down and actually then brings that really close onto this frog mechanism, holding it very, very precisely. I'll get this cleaned up and I will put it